So I've taken a couple weeks off just because I had a lot on my calendar, and I didn't want to rush this video because, unlike a lot of the games I've played recently, this one feels different. Now, with Ghost of Tsushima, I want to immediately go into the high praise department because it was a really well made production, but I also want to take a moment to stand on where it comes from because it is a Sony production. Now, we can sit here and crap on Sony all day long for making on a rail adventure games like the most recent God of War was, Last of Us, pretty much any game developed by Sony as a studio in the last couple of years has been very cinematic and very on a rail with no just open worlding. This game had extreme quantities of open worlding, and honestly, I'm there for it. I prefer to have open world adventure games that don't really involve terribly much crafting unless it's supposed to be an open world survival crafting game. I did like that this game kind of took out the currency system. Like, you didn't have coins or any kind of money, you had supplies, which during a time where trade and barter was very large and in the middle of having your land invaded, I feel like they took the right move there, taking money out. Personally, I think the worst of the worst, the game has too much to do. And I know that sounds like a contradiction from someone who enjoys open world games, but let me explain it more correctly with more words. I want to have a lot of side quests and to-dos, but I want them to be different. Now, the side quests of Ghost of Tsushima were beautifully done. Some of them were speaking to Yamato and, doing things that relate to the lore of ancient Japan, which some of them are true-ish. And I like that they always show that the lore of all these old tales is steeped in some amount of realism. Sans the demon bow. That one was just kind of fucking weird. Outside of the actual marked side quests, though, like the things to do, haikus, statues where you could honor the fallen and get a new weapon skin, onsens where you could reflect on one or two different things and soak yourself in a hot bath and get a little extra HP, and fox dens. Outside of that, it was just the side quests and the main storyline. Now, all of that wouldn't be so bad if there wasn't so much of it. There's so much to do per section of per island that the easiest way to play the game for me was how I did play it. Letting it be an ADHD adventure where I just let myself go apeshit. No bars held. It wasn't like, man, I gotta do the main storyline today. Side quests can wait. All this extra stuff can wait. I just went where the game showed me something was, followed the birds a good 80% of the time with no questions asked, and just went. Now, leaving the side content alone and going and shifting into the main frame of the game, I do love that the game focuses on like honor traditionalism, family name being stronger than most things, that the samurai clans were both together and apart at the same time, and that the shogun had to approve you to even have a family clan. You couldn't just be a family who decided to be samurai. You had to be acknowledged. It's pretty neat that they did all the history work on that. What I did not love about the main storyline is that Jin, a practiced samurai, does not know the basic 4 stances coming into the game. You have to earn those stances by doing the camps and stuff and getting rid of captains. And that's a bit of a throw-off for me because he did all this training with his uncle. And it seems odd of a choice for them to do that. Do they need to lock some things behind a wall? Yes. Do they need to lock the basic 4 stances behind a wall? No. That seems like something a samurai would be very willing to put at use at any given time. I will say I tried for a greater portion of the early storyline to honor the Iron Code and make sure that I was doing right by the Samurai Code and being honorable, doing callouts and stuff. The game really pushes you hard to become the ghost. Krodai. Which isn't even a direct translation of the ghost. I think that's closer to the witch in Japanese. It's... honestly, it is what it is. I know the narrative wants you to be the ghost of Tsushima. I try to be honorable. I think it was at least a 60% effort. When it came to bigger camps, I would be like, okay, let's do this stealthy, like, let's take out a few of them, then maybe be honorable towards the end. The game just, it keeps handing you elements and saying, hey, go do a crime. And for the most part, Jin does not accept the go do a crime. He seems like he wants to do things honorably, at least in the way he speaks tonally. I think the point of no return for becoming the ghost is either poisoning everybody using wolfsbane in the alcohol supplies, or I would even go a step sooner and say when he was talking to the lady who helped care for him, and she taught him how to make the blow darts. Everything else seems like it would be an almost honorable option, a tool or a function of war that could help in a combat situation. The blow dart gun is crossing the line. That is officially ghost territory. And I do find it weird, out of everything, that I don't know if this is going to be too spoilery, but if going down the path of the ghost when you and your uncle separate, that he doesn't ask you to relinquish your family's armor with honor, because the family symbols, the status, everything like that was extremely important in the yonder days Japan. And him continuing to wear that armor while doing all these crimes would make him very identifiable, because no one of the citizens you save goes, oh my goodness, it's the ghost. Even if you're wearing full ghost armor, they'll mention, oh my goodness, it's the ghost. Wait, Lord Sakai, it's you? Or, oh my goodness, it's Lord Sakai, the ghost. Everyone knows who you are, so the entire island knows that Lord Sakai became the ghost and freed them from the Mongols. And it's not even like a close contest. Like, I feel like the uncle asking for the armor back to relinquish a family name would have A, helped the Legend of the Ghost, and B, saved face, which was also super important. I don't know. It seemed like a weird choice. I can't really say anything terribly bad about the game. I mean, like I said earlier, Sony's been making a host of linear walking sims with minor bits of exploration attached, but they don't really make big open world games. The last big open world game with minimal linearity in it that I played from Sony Studios was Days Gone. And that was a wow experience that seemed like they put a little too much effort into survival crafting. Except they put it all into the bike and nothing else. This one was a lot different. Simply because you had to weigh the options of being honorable versus dishonorable, ghost, no ghost, doing as much of the side content as you want or avoiding it all. It all feels like a choice. Like most games, like the Assassin's Creed games, it's not a choice. It's like, hey, sheet of paper here says this guy's gotta fucking die. Simple as. That's what it is. In this game, it's, hey, we got a problem over there. You gonna solve it? I don't know, will you? You don't have to. You could go, theoretically, through the earliest part of the game, doing only the bases they tell you to do, with story characters you need for the assault, and nothing else, and you could do it. You could do it the entire game. No one's going to stop you. I guess I held to a traditional point that I like to make in games. I don't like to use modes of transportation. I will go by foot everywhere I can, any chance I can get, just because I prefer it, and I prefer to look at the world around me. If the game wants me to use a mode of transportation for a mission, I'll do that. But I really like to get into the games. I really like to see how well modeled it is. I think I only found like a floating bush in one area. It tells me there's a lot of attention to detail. I also want to take a moment to say, for anyone that wants to play it on PC, do. Because for some forsaken fucking reason, every game that's come out recently has been like 100 to 120 gigs, and they overinflate the file size. Ghost of Tsushima is like 50 gigs. You can download that shit like that, and it takes you like 40 hours to beat the entire thing if you really dig into it. So, there you go. Me personally, I'm going to have to rate this like a 9.2 out of 10. I could do without picking flowers and finding random straw hats in fields because a bird told me so. I do like that they went with the minimal HUD, so that your HUD is in the very bottom corner. That there is no giant band across the top like Skyrim does, where you have a ring compass. It's just no HUD. The fact that they use the wind as a HUD or as a directional pointer, genius. You could trigger it as often as you want. You could put a waypoint down and it'll shift the breeze. Birds come down to tell you where secrets are. Like it's a genius system. It's not like a you were handed a map of Tsushima and here's all the things, go find them. It feels natural-ish. It does get a bit annoying when you already know that there's something, like, say you're on a mountaintop and you can see an onsen down below, and on your way down to it, a bird tries to take you left or right, and you're like... It gets a little annoying at times, but I think that's the price we have to pay for an open HUD system. Normally, I like to praise indie developers for trying new things, and I usually like to crap on larger game companies because they don't innovate much. But I think Sony did a fair job here, and it looks all right. I liked it. I would play it again. I do have the Island of Akai, which is, I guess, Director's Cut DLC add-on stuff that I just didn't do yet. I may make a video in the future. I may not. I might just play it on my own time. This game is a very different experience. I also haven't played many ninja or samurai styled games, so it's a very new market for me. I'll hopefully be putting out more videos soon, and I'll be recording another video here immediately, so don't mind seeing the same fit twice. I'll see you guys on the next one.